AM 1220, KHTS, hometownstation.com. I am T. We are here with Dr. Proctor, a show that gives us permission to peek over the shoulders of medical professionals to sort of become our own best advocates for our health, take away some of the mystery, some of the fear, and just keep an eye as the population, they're calling it the silver tsunami, and people 45 and over, as we start to deal with our own medical issues and changing bodies. One of the things we really need to be on top of is type 2 diabetes. Now, diabetes, it's a metabolic disease, and there are various types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, type 2, prediabetes, gestational diabetes that occurs during pregnancy. But today, we're talking about type 2 diabetes, which is it is critically important to manage your blood sugar levels as you age to prevent or delay disabling and even life-threatening complications that come with diabetes, cardiovascular disease, neuropathy or nerve damage, kidney damage, eye damage, foot damage, skin conditions, even hearing impairment. There are some articles out there that are suggesting that maybe even Alzheimer's. It's still a theory, but this is something we need to, and why wouldn't we want to be in our most optimum health? People are living longer. We've got advances in medicine and management that we can live longer, healthier, happier lives, but becoming one of our own best advocates is one of the best things we can do. I'm here today with Dr. Sai Hassan, who is from Pediatric Adult Endocrine in Newhall. They're on Peachland Avenue. Their website is pegilbert.com. Their phone number is 661-253-4420. Dr. Hassan, again, thank you so much for agreeing to come in and chat with me today.
Nice to be here with you.
Now, we talked about risk factors, family history, race and ethnicity, being overweight, hypertension, having abnormal lipid levels, that good and bad cholesterol business we need to keep an eye on. But two of the main things that just being alive and aging, and the idea that being overweight, and you gave me a staggering statistic, over 50% of the population is overweight. That's right.
The good news is that there's certain groups within the demographic that are actually plateauing, so that's wonderful news. The message has gone through to the 2 to 8-year-old children, which have actually a higher rate than 50% if you think of adolescents. But overall, the rate is staggering and very depressing.
It is very depressing. And what's really disturbing to me about type 2 diabetes is the idea that type 1 diabetes is not something that can be prevented. This is something that someone is born with, where the body is not processing, it's a metabolic disease and the body's not properly processing their energy. But type 2 diabetes, there are lifestyle choices that can help treat prediabetes, type 2, and even if we can touch slightly on even gestational pregnancy diabetes, these can be prevented through choices, and really it's three-pronged, isn't it? Diet, activity, and just losing weight from those two areas.
Yeah, absolutely. So just basic things that is better to incorporate into your day. We need to be active. So if you're sitting in front of a desk, a computer, stand up occasionally, every few minutes.
And we do that. I mean, it's terrible. I'm shifting in my chair now that you're saying it because it's making me self-conscious. But we as Americans, if we work at a desk job, and a lot of jobs are, you're not lifting, and while there's a tremendous part of the population that does that, there's a lot of us that are desk workers or stand for periods of time in retail, and then go home, lie down on the sofa or in the easy chair, turn on the television, or get in front of the computer and social media, or whatever it is. We really are not a very active people.
That's a shame, but
it's true.
Once people start to think about where they are, and sometimes you need a dramatic wake-up call. You go see your doctor, and the doctor says, you've got diabetes, or you've got high blood pressure. Those sort of things are a wake-up call, and then it's telling people loud and clear, hey, I've got to change. And so, yes, it's something people are so commonly doing, but they can change.
Now, physical activity, because for some people they're like, I don't want to join a gym, and I'm going to throw you under the bus. I think it's adorable your phone rang during the break because it was a gym calling you. We could, a lot of people, I don't want to spend the money, but physical activity can be something, 30 minutes a day, or, throwing that into your week. 30 minutes, it's not that.
30 minutes a day. We say 30 minutes where you're actually having your heart rate elevated, that you're maybe perspiring a little bit. If you can't afford that, then you've got to think of ways and plan this in advance. Don't go to work after you've been diagnosed with diabetes and say, okay, I'm not going to change anything.
Oh, you have to.
You have to.
And then whether it's just walking, parking farther away, adding that to your day, riding a bike. If you have a swimming pool available, swimming laps, not just being in the water, but actually getting out there and kicking around for half an hour. And it's my understanding that if you can't commit to 30 minutes at a time, you can even do that in short bursts, can't you?
That's right. And people who've got a smartphone or...
Yeah, I just learned that myself. It tracks how much you're walking, how active you are.
You'd be surprised how much we do walk. You'd be really surprised. But you should take 10,000 steps a day, which actually adds up to 5 miles. And it's really not that difficult once you incorporate all those activities into your day.
All right, this is a public service announcement. Stop looking for those parking spaces so close to the building. First of all, it's a madhouse the closer you get to a building. And a lot of facilities now have made these gigantic parking lots. Park a little ways away. It's not. We have beautiful weather in many parts of, certainly Southern California, and in where we have the opportunity to be able to walk these distances in a covered garage. Don't try to get the one closest. Even that tiny little bit of business.
Even that adds up. That's a great example. The other one is if you're sitting in front of a desk, hey, just get up. Just stand up, stretch your legs. If you're taking flights on the plane, just stand up in the aisle when you're allowed to, and just stretch. You continue to do that. There's so many benefits that add up.
Now, in addition to the physical activity, the diet. We also, and I can tell you it's something that is very disturbing to me, that the good food is not the cheap food.
That's right.
And that bothers me to no end. The idea that if someone wants to go in and get the blueberries and get the blackberries and all these things they're being told, it's like, okay, one, that costs a little extra. Two, it takes a little bit of effort. The cheap food, the fast food, the easy food is, you can go almost anywhere now. There's a value menu. What? I don't have a lot of time. I'm in my car. I'm still seated. No activity. I'm going to drive through. High fat, high salt, all the things that irritate. First of all, that high sodium, hypertension, that's bad, right?
Right.
And then all that nasty, the extra fat that we don't need.
Cholesterol, all those things are bad, and they just accumulate to making somebody unhealthy. So, sometimes it takes that unfortunate wake-up call, but I found people who are doing all those things the wrong way for years and years actually stand up and say, I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to make things different. I've got something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's so important. And the idea that if you can wrap your idea around, when we say healthy diet, we don't mean to diet, we don't mean, but you need to be aware of what you're putting in your mouth. I know a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, mindless eating. Oh, someone offers me, a piece of chocolate. Oh, so-and-so had this. Oh, I'm standing at the kitchen and those extra bites. And before you know it, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Where did this extra 5 pounds come from? But finding foods lower in fat and calories and higher in fiber. A lot of times you'll hear the conversation about fiber. That's nature's little scrub brush, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. Just thinking about getting the less processed foods. So wild rice, if you're going to have...
They're going to have rice, do the wild rice.
And then you can combine it with things, I'm Indian, and so I tell people, hey, you can add peas and different vegetables into your rice, which is, pilau that we eat all the time. And, so if you throw in veggies, you're getting the staple, you're getting the grain that you want.
You're getting what you need.
And then you get the vegetable in there too.
And I know a lot of people have heard about quinoa pretty much across the board. Everyone can finally pronounce it. But don't be afraid of quinoa. Quinoa can be made exactly like rice. It's not any extra effort. It's made exactly like rice. And you can substitute that instead of white rice.
And then you can add things to it.
Yes,
quinoa,
and make it delicious.
Any kind of herb or other type of vegetable, squash, you can chop up into small
vegetables
bits.
and whole grains and fruits. If you can get a fruit in your diet. I mean, a lot of us grew up with the old adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's not so funny. It's actually the truth.
That's absolutely true. We tell kids
it's fiber.
They should do 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And then they think, I don't like that much. But, you incorporate it. When you're making a sandwich, instead of going home, rushing home and eating a bag of chips, just take a little bit of time. Grab some chips to stave off the hunger, but then make yourself a sandwich. Stack high the vegetables and tomatoes. Those things are
and then the
gonna add
ratio
up.
to the good to the bad isn't, you can't deny yourself. That's not usually the best way, because then people will binge. So that's probably, it's probably good advice. Go ahead and give yourself the chips, but make sure that the other pile of food is the good stuff. So prevention, it's something that, again, diabetes is such it's such a disabling disease, and type 2 diabetes, which can be prevented and managed if you're doing that. Let's talk a little bit about, let's say we've got someone, they come in and they have to be treated for diabetes. Walk me through what treatment is once you have diabetes.
Once somebody has it, then we talk about the basics, lifestyle changes, and we say that you have a stage of diabetes that you're going to need some medications. There's some medicines that are safer than others. Unfortunately, in the later stages of diabetes, you need some medicines that have more side effects. So it's better to catch it early and to make those changes.
Now, and how are those medications, besides things like cholesterol and high blood pressure medications, how is the glucophage and the medications for diabetes, how are those administered?
Most are oral, and modern medicine is creating better and safer medications. Oral medicines, by and large, take care of most people with diabetes, along with lifestyle changes. Sometimes we have to put folks on insulin, and there's a brand new medicine that to you might be real happy to hear about. It not only controls diabetes, but can help people feel fuller and then lose weight.
So and again, we're part of that era where we are so conscious. It's surprising me that 50% of people are overweight when we're so hyper conscious about being thinner, or because it's in our media, it's in our society, everywhere we look, the television shows, the films, and people are as big as a pencil, and the idea that we are, for the most part, 50% overweight.
That's right. Just the lifestyle that we're leading. People are busy. They've got kids,
and we're sitting, and we're not active.
And we sit, and a lot of our work is now funneled into sitting in front of a computer.
So much is, and our social life too. So many people, you might get out and go for a walk and meet people. Now you're doing it on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all the various other forms of social media. Talk to me a little bit about, again, the idea that, yes, this is something, type 2 diabetes can be prevented and managed, healthy diet, physical activity, talking about being overweight. It's my understanding that losing 5 to 7%, only 5% of your body weight can be one of the things that can reduce risk of type 2 diabetes.
That's right. Especially if you've got pre-diabetes, if you're starting to have sugars that are slightly elevated but not quite in the diabetes range. At that point, if you start to manage your lifestyle a little bit better and lose just 5%, that'll erase the diabetes. So
200 pounds, we're talking like a 10-pound that
So
just dropping 10
just
pounds
dropping 10 pounds.
is a reduction in risk for type 2 diabetes.
And then if you can keep it there, then you'll be free of diabetes forever.
It's amazing to me, again, that it's so critically important to manage something like this. And if we just have a little awareness and a bit of mental attitude, this just change ever so slightly, this is one of those diseases that we can actually, prevent or at the very least stave off for a while.
That's right. And I tell patients, and I love it when they bring somebody along, I tell them, bring your entire family. If you can't do that, at least tell your family, hey, you do have diabetes. And we talk about the genetics, and we talk about if you truly love your kids and your parents, your siblings, you will want to tell them you were diagnosed with diabetes.
Absolutely.
And you all better be aware.
Everybody needs to be aware. And really anyone over the age of 45 who's carrying a little, extra around the middle or in the trunk, definitely those two factors right there put you at risk, for the possibility of this.
That's right. And again, thinking about it, unfortunately, people don't realize until they get the diagnosis, but a show like yours and all the other great public service announcements are starting to make an impact, so it's promising.
I love that. We're talking with Dr. Sai Hassan. He's an endocrinologist, and in addition to having his own practice, pediatric adult endocrine on Peachland Avenue in Newhall, Dr. Hassan works with Oakmont, which is a full... You have a medical management team because in the elder population, diabetes is a factor. It's a fact of life, and you get these patients and you have them at your facility where you have a team of people. And I do want to talk about very quickly before we close the management team that does help a patient with diabetes. In addition to yourself, endocrinologist, dietitians become important. Your pharmacist will become important. Podiatrist, ophthalmologist, and optometrist, and your cardiologist, again, because of hypertension issues. It is a team. It's a management team. And as we get older, it's important for us to have those people on our team. Am I right?
That's right. We get each member involved, and if somebody's in assisted living, like at Oakmont, we incorporate the whole concept of diabetes with them.
And I do think that people have to understand that in addition to your healthcare team, your friends and your family can be vital to managing diabetes and helping with emotional well-being, supporting you in the event of an emergency, and even before talking about the idea that type 2 diabetes can be prevented, these people should also be on board. We should be looking after one another to help prevent it. Go for a walk. Make sure that your next chat time with your friends or your family, you know what? Strap on a pair of shoes. Let's go for a walk. Let's go outside. Put on a jacket, the sunblock. Get out of the house. Be active. Be mobile, because your friends and your family, in addition to your healthcare team, can not only be vital to managing diabetes, I believe it's also the way to prevent and keep a lot of things. I love me some doctors. I say it every week. I do love me some doctors. But if we don't have to see you as much and we can help your workload, because you're overloaded too right now with everything that's going on with the healthcare system, and we can just see you in times of, just when we really, really need you, or a social visit.
Absolutely. That'll be good.
That would be really nice.
And it has to. It's good, the team approach. And if we can see a particular patient less often, that's rewarding to us.
And I do like what you said, that having people come into the office, having a family member or friend around to help you make decisions, or to maybe also hear what the doctor is saying, is very important. Don't be afraid to bring them with you to your doctor's visits. Again, we're talking with Dr. Hassan, who is of pediatric adult endocrine. He's also over at Oakmont. We'll be back after these messages here with Dr. Proctor. AM 1220, KHTS, HometownStation.com. You are with me, T. I'm normally here with you Monday through Friday, your afternoon tea, but today we're here with Dr. Proctor, an hour show that gives us permission to peek over the shoulders of the medical professionals to see what's going on out in the medical world, helping us to become our own best advocates. They talk about the silver tsunami coming, and as we deal with children or we deal with aging parents, we also have to be our own best advocate. Anyone over the age 40, 45, you have to really start taking a look at what's going on with your best health as doctors and hospitals are becoming more and more impacted with more people having the opportunity to get health care. It's important that we also keep an eye on ourselves. And we're here today with Dr. Sai Hassan, who's here from his own practice, Pediatric Adult Endocrine. They're on Newhall Avenue. He's also part of Oakmont facility, which is a senior living facility, part of their healthcare management team. And we've been talking about type 2 diabetes. Now, diabetes is a metabolic disease where the body is not properly processing food as energy, and there are various types. There's type 1 diabetes, there's type 2, there's prediabetes, gestational diabetes. Today, we're primarily talking about type 2 or prediabetes, or even touching upon gestational diabetes, because these are the types of diabetes that can be prevented through lifestyle choices. And Dr. Hassan, we talked about who's at risk, and your big emphasis was family history. Family history is
That's right.
critical.
Just to be aware of what has happened in the past and make it a discussion when you're together with family members. Just ask them, how did your doctor visit go? Or accompany your parent or
Critically
your sibling.
important. Race and ethnicity, being overweight, your age, having hypertension, abnormal lipid levels, these are all things that are critically important. Symptoms can include, and a lot of people can miss these, or just think, oh, well, I'm getting older, I have to get up in the bathroom and go to the bathroom. Increased thirst, frequent urination, extreme hunger, which I didn't realize was one of those symptoms, unexplained weight loss. Don't be excited about that. There might be an underlying issue. Fatigue, irritability, that's me on an average daily basis, but you know what? It could be a sign of illness. Blurred vision, slow healing sores, and you need to see your doctor for tests and diagnoses. And again, for a type of diabetes, it's critically important to manage your blood sugar levels. And if you can prevent or delay disabling and even life-threatening complications from type 2 diabetes, you should do it. Doctor, you said that people they should see their doctor every 6 months?
Every 6 months, and be aware, just like you described, and just make sure that if you are starting to get overweight, to think about the long-term consequences of that.
All right. If you'd like to call Dr. Hassan, who's very charming, thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you.
Sai Hassan, the phone number to his office is 661-253-4420. His website for pediatric adult endocrine is ca.pgilbert.com. They are in Newhall. Or call your endocrinologist and your family doctor. Go in and say, you know what, I have some of these symptoms. I have some of these concerns. I am, a certain age or overweight or family history, and have it checked. Tell your doc you're concerned about these things. Dr. Hassan, again, very, very happy that you made time to come in today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll have you come back because we've talked about endocrine and having to do with hormones. We're going to at some point bring you back in to talk about changing hormones in men and women after a particular age in life. Yeah?
Can't wait. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so very much. Again, you're listening to Dr. Proctor. This is once a week I do this. Thursdays, noon to 1. You can also find the podcast for past shows at hometownstation.com. And if you ever have any questions you'd like, you can always send them to info@hometownstation.com. I am T here on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.